FM 87.6, and we'll be continuing our discussion on a very important topic that is going to be highlighted on World Radio Day, which is climate change. Now, I've talked about this before with a few of my other guests, but now I have here with me Dr. Ejaz Ahmed, an environmentalist, and we will have his expert opinion on the importance of understanding and doing whatever we can to make sure that climate change, it will happen obviously, but efforts need to be made to make sure that it doesn't have a massive impact on our everyday lives, more than it already does. But thank you so much for being here with us today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, there's lots to discuss.
This is very important aspect, the communication, the awareness raising on social issues, because unfortunately, mostly the media is, more diverted towards the political discussions, which does not have that kind of impact. And this is, I think, credit also goes to those who thought about as a theme on a special day, radio day, that climate change should be considered and it should be promoted
and highlighted.
Knowledge, yeah.
In your personal opinion, you think that this issue is not highlighted enough in Pakistan, especially these days?
Not, yeah. Globally, it's not highlighted to that extent, but I think generally in South Asia and in Pakistan especially, this issue has not been actually identified as one of the priority area. Although we talk a lot, with the passage of time, what happened is that the environment itself, the climate change aspects are so obvious that people have started,
they can't be ignored.
Yes,
they can't be ignored.
For example, anymore. Like this flood of 2022, 2010, they were massive.
Indeed.
Yeah, and then there were millions of people who were displaced, and there was $40+ billion of losses that we actually Pakistan faced.
Yes, sir, collectively with these two floods.
Yes. No, only 2022.
Oh,
I'm
not
talking about at the moment.
Oh, you haven't even mentioned the damages of 2010.
Yeah.
Wow.
So because of that, all the policymakers, decision makers, they started talking about it, that this is an issue. But in reality, mostly, it's still being ignored, unfortunately. The priority is given to the development, to infrastructure, but that infrastructure at the cost of environment is not a sustainable way of dealing with the environment and environmental
when something is sustainable, you mean that it is something that can go on for a long period of time, because the negative aspect of it is either non-existent or it's lesser than it was previously. Now, sustainable sources of energy and sustainable resources, these words get tossed around a lot. Yeah. So let's talk about it. So as simple as we can make it for all those who are listening in. Preventative measures for climate change. Let's talk about why we must do our best, because you just mentioned the floods. Now, climate change in the various areas of Pakistan, be it urban or rural, not only does it have massive damages, but very specified damages.
Of course.
And if there's some examples, I mean, there's so many examples, but if
I can give you some examples.
You could go on and on.
So starting from north, this glacier melting is one of the phenomena which is going on, and it is actually increasing with the passage of time.
Indeed.
So what happens is that when the glacier melts, they form certain lakes, and these lakes, since they are not there before, so ultimately they don't have that kind of structure. So ultimately what happens is when the scale of these glacier melt enhances, so these lakes, since they are not there before,
yes, they're not naturally made.
Yeah, so they burst. So, and then the community living downstream actually suffers a lot, and in the form of glacier lake outburst floods.
That is the specific term.
Yeah, that is a specific term which is used, glacier lake outburst floods. And there are few hundred actually lakes which are formed on a regular basis, and some of them they are beneficial because their source of water for agriculture, for human being, for other uses, but they become dangerous sometime as well. So starting from north and coming down, then this phenomena actually, if there is a lesser rain, So again, like the whole biodiversity in a river system, it suffers. So your river does not have that kind of water because the lack of glacier melt. So there are different scenarios.
Yes.
Sometimes, like this year, we did not get enough rain. We did not get enough snowfall.
Everybody was
So
talking about this, the drought that we've been
yes,
experiencing.
yes. So we are already in drought phase actually. So the glacier are basically our bank accounts. So more glaciers we get, more water resources we have. And then ultimately what happens is during the summertime, these glaciers they melt and they supply water to the entire country. Our dams, the Tarbela and Mangla dams, they are filled with water because of the glacier lakes and because of the glacier melting. So if that melting is not enough, so ultimately what happens is that water level goes down.
And water becomes scarce.
And water becomes scarce. So the drought situation, and then with the scenario that we did not get enough rains, so it is like negatively like impacting. So less rain, less snow, less water, and like at the moment CDA has already sent a warning to reduce the water use because there is not enough water in for coming weeks, for coming days actually. So the level of water at in Islam in Rawal Dam or in like the dams in the neighborhood, Khanpur Dam. So it is actually reducing
To dangerous levels.
to dangerous levels. So that is, I mean, like again, when come to if you come down from northern to south, and then if you move down, the coastal area they suffer because the seawater intrusion happens.
Which is a whole separate issue now.
Yes,
There we
it's
go.
a whole separate issue, and the underground water table actually suffers a lot in a sense that since there is no fresh water available, there is no rain, there is no like push from the rivers. So what happens? Seawater start penetrating into the aquifer. So ultimately, like, and there is a specific fish which is called palla fish, which moves from sea, and it spawns in river water.
I see.
So it does not have, since there is no
There's
water,
no river water for it.
so they don't get enough like a way to move upward. So that's and similarly in Balochistan the drought situation is even worse. So all over Pakistan, we are blessed in a sense that we have a unique ecosystems, we have a unique geophysical situation in Pakistan. There are like deserts, there are riverine belts, there are
Mountainous
low
areas.
mountainous areas, and then unique mountainous areas. There are some green mountains, there are some rocky mountains. There is a lot of diversity. I mean, like from that point of view, and all of them are suffering, unfortunately.
Are some provinces suffering more than others?
Yes, there are. I mean, like according to the Pakistan Meteorological Department, the rains in Sindh, the normal average rainfall which used to happen in these months did not happen. So in Sindh there was like 52% lesser water available. In Punjab, I think in Balochistan it was 45%. In Punjab it was 42 or something like that. Overall in Pakistan there was like less than around 40% less rain during these months. So what happens is this is a season. Actually we have already passed. December and January is a time when we grow, we sow wheat.
I see.
So wheat season started during
December?
these drought months.
Uh-oh.
So there is not enough water. So what happened is that people, where there is groundwater available, they extract more water. So the water table goes down also. So it's a complex situation, and if they don't do so, then the wheat crop will suffer, especially in this region because it is a rain-fed area, Barani area, which actually totally depends on water from rain. So when there is no rain, there is no water.
And
there
it's
is
a
no
domino
water,
effect.
there is no crop. So ultimately, if even like those areas where people they get some rain or they get water from tube wells, they have to actually spend more money, because the tube well will be running instead of 1 hour, then it will be 2 hours. So the bill, electricity bill will increase, and that again, the cost,
Is
the
just
input
no
will
longer,
increase. So
once
it's
again,
economics, it's a food security issue, it's a climate change
a water
issue,
scarcity issue.
it's water scarcity issue.
And
So
also, the extreme heat that we have to. This has become a
that,
normal thing in Pakistan, but it shouldn't be. You shouldn't feel like dying from heat stroke is a normal thing.
yeah,
But unfortunately, over
it's,
the
it's, a,
years,
it's a new normal actually.
it shouldn't be, but it
No,
is.
it should not be. I mean, like, but I think that the importance of we're talking about the radio is basically where we need to educate people how to conserve water, how to use water, and there are efficient ways of using, be it like drinking water or crop or for irrigation purpose for or some other purpose. So there are ways to actually reduce water use. Without compromising on like
On
our
everyday
needs.
needs,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you can use water efficiently. That is the right word for it. There's efficient uses for water out there, clean water.
Yes.
There's already water scarcity all around the world, and this is a global issue. So it's very important for you. If you use water in your job, it's very important for you to understand the most efficient way of using it. And because we're an agricultural nation, this sort of information is very important. Are there any? There are some examples of the right ways to use water effectively in irrigation.
There are many different ways. Irrigation, these drip irrigation is now very common, and similarly now precision. There is a term which is used, precision agriculture,
Precision
smart
agriculture.
agriculture. So actually, what happens is there are different gadgets which you can use on crop, and they will inform you that now this crop needs water. So then you can actually irrigate. So what happens in Pakistan is that people have their term. Uh, Say for 2 hours, the canal water is available for them, and they can actually use that water for irrigation purpose. This is from irrigated canals. So those areas where these canals are there, so people based on their land, based on the
Based on the
crop,
schedule.
yeah. So they get water
Accordingly.
accordingly. And if you need water, then it's fine. Even if you don't need, they have the term, like the time they can sell it or whatever. But precision agriculture and smart agriculture tells you when do you need to irrigate your farm and how much water do you need.
How much
So
water does
that
each crop need?
each crop, even to that extent, each plant, not in crop, but
Each individual.
if you're talking about forest, if you're talking about like orchards, so then that actually will save your water to a greater extent.
And you actually touched upon a very important topic there, that there's orchids that are also taken care of, the importance of trees. Now, this is something that there's been reforestation projects here and there.
Yes.
How successful have they been? How much effort is being put into reforestation in Pakistan, sir?
Well, unfortunately, Pakistan being an arid country, the forest which is required is not to that extent. We at some point we had the highest deforestation rate in the world.
We don't anymore, but we did it at one point.
But we are. I mean, like I think there are some other countries which are
Who are worse than us. Yes.
competing with us.
Oh, boy.
So it's maybe credit goes to them.
Yes, credit.
Not that we did effort, but we actually did start. I mean, like the massive plantation, afforestation programs, and they were. I would say quite successful in the sense that there were a lot of efforts which were actually placed. So billions of trees were planted,
And they're being maintained and looked after?
Yes, yes. So, but again, I think this practice needs to be, like continued for a decade or maybe more than that, because we, unfortunately, we are expanding our urban areas, our cities, and at the cost of
The environment.
At the cost of the trees, the forest,
Natural wildlife.
Of course, I mean, like it goes with, if there is a forest, the wildlife will of course be supported by, like, since they provide shelter, they provide protection.
That is their home.
But if, yeah, exactly, that's their home. So if the home is actually destroyed, so ultimately they don't have any place to live. Islamabad, I've been living in Islamabad since 1971. So which is, like 50 plus years.
And in those years, you've seen
I've seen many things. I used to go to, say, even to Qaeda as a university for my master's and for my MPhil. Almost every morning, I would say there will be one or two snakes being killed by cars, by buses, because they'll cross the road.
And that was a normal thing.
And that was normal thing. And or like wild boars or jackals, or like they will be some dead, will be lying on the road.
Just some wild animals. Just every day you would see a new wild animal.
Almost, yeah. Almost every day, or at least like twice or 3 times a week.
Some people in the younger generation, myself, it's hard to imagine that there was a time like that in Islamabad where there was greenery everywhere.
There was greenery everywhere, and the streams, the water channels were so beautiful, and they were, I remember we used to go to school, and we used to cross a water channel and a small stream, and we'll see fish running here and there, and sometimes, it was so amazing and so interesting that we will sometimes get late to the school because we'll just see the
different birds in the trees, or you would see.
Yes. So it was a different world altogether. A Disney World. And
we're not discouraging. Of course, like we should be modern, and we should.
No, of course, development is required.
Yes,
but then not at the cost of environment.
Indeed.
There are, as we were talking earlier about the sustainable development.
Indeed,
the sustainable development where you actually take care of environment, you take care of the community who are living in there already, like their houses are there, take care of the culture, take care of all the, important aspects which are related to human life or history or culture.
Or animal life.
Of course, biodiversity is part of it.
And there are ways of doing that. There's plans. There are processes which you can follow, where you can urbanize an area, and you can still make sure that the output has the least amount of damage possible. And we talk about sustainable ways of making sure that you can tackle climate change, sustainable resources. So we've been talking about big businesses this entire time. Now, for the everyday individuals who are listening in, the ways that the average individual can work towards the small efforts that they can put in to eventually make a big difference towards climate change.
It does.
So what can the everyday individual do, sir?
I think most of the issues are related to our individual practices. Of course, that there are certain areas where, like policy level issues are there. But individuals can play a very important role. At household level, if I'm using water and I am wasting water, so if I'm washing one glass of water and using one jug of water to wash it, so I think it's a criminal act.
Clearly something is wrong there.
Something is wrong. If I'm washing cars with a tap instead of using bucket, so I'm wasting actually water. I'm using maybe 100 buckets instead of 1 or 2 buckets.
For one car. Every day.
Or even every week. But still, this is a wastage. And you can actually conserve it little by little. You don't have to, they say that conserve every drop of water. And it is part of our religion also, that we should not be wasting our resources, be it water, be any other commodity.
Yes, be it food, be it energy,
electricity. Anything. So we don't care about it. Similarly, in urban areas, waste is a huge issue at the moment.
Yes. Mismanagement of waste.
Mismanagement, even proper management.
Yes, tossing everything away.
Yes, yeah. and that actually creates a lot of problems related to health. Burning of waste causes, like health issues, and you can manage it.
There's a solution there.
There are solutions. And I remember my childhood, we hardly used to get any waste, because there was no plastic bags at that time. There was only a cotton bag, or like my mother will make like a bag from my pants or from my shirts.
Recycling.
Yeah,
they would recycle.
So they will everything will be used. Teen dabbe wala will come, and then like every week something will be sold, and then or every month something will be sold. So there was hardly any waste to that level,
but now everything was recycled.
Yes, and now with the introduction of plastic, that the whole lifestyle has changed.
You say plastic is a huge issue. Get rid of it.
Well, there are no options, no solution. At the moment, there are many solutions, but then they cost a lot. So that is one of the reasons why we are facing this issue, this problem of waste. So if at household level we segregate our waste, and use 60% of our waste is basically wet waste, which means vegetable, like fruits, and organic waste actually, which can be converted into compost very easily at household level, and you can use for kitchen gardening.
Yes, for your gardens.
Yes, for rooftop gardens or something like that. So these practices, our lifestyle has changed. Our lifestyle has changed to that extent that during my childhood, we got bike scooters actually. My father got scooter, and like family will use it. But now everyone has car, and even in the family, brother has his car, and sister will have her car.
A family of 5 has 5 cars.
Or 4 cars
at least has to be.
So that actually, which basically means that when they come on the road, 5 cars have introduced
carbon emissions.
Yeah, so pollution, you need to expand your roads at the cost of forest, at the cost of trees. So altogether, I mean, like, this is basic. And then like if you have a surface which is not concrete surface, the water during the rain time will be absorbed, and the aquifer, the underground water, will be recharged automatically. Whereas when we talk about roads, so that is another issue. The urban floods situation occurs, and then sometimes it is out of control, and human life losses
as a result.
Yeah.
And this is a topic that we have dived deep into for today, and this discussion could go on and on. But right now we're coming to the end of our discussion with Dr. Ejaz. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it was amazing talking to you about this.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate all of your input. And if anybody is still interested, please do your research today. On World Radio Day, we are discussing and we are addressing this issue, climate change. It's a serious issue. So if there's something that you want to say, if there's something that you want to learn, go out there. Everybody has access to the internet. Do your research, and if you are interested in raising awareness with all of us, you can do so on any of your social media platforms. Talk about it with others, and the more we educate people about this issue, the more it will, inshallah, one day no longer be an issue. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much again, sir.
Thank you.
And keep listening to Planet FM 87.6.